Sorry for the delay due to some technical difficulties with my internet service provider. So I'm currently running on mobile. How's everybody doing this Friday night? Just let me know if you can hear me in the chat endpoint here. Joseph, are you there? Okay, so now I can join you now. I'll just paste this in here. Great. Okay, so Joseph, I'm here with you now. Yep. Okay. All right, so welcome. Any question, just type in the just type in the chat end here, and then I will be more than happy to help out. It also appears there's a slight delay between the stream from my end and then hitting the YouTube servers, so I'll just entreat you to bear with me. It's from the internet connection I'm using. My ISP has been down since yesterday. Okay, so Joseph, you were asking for me to help you with setting up your server. Now we are live, so let me hear you. I'm all yours now. An exciting year for the enterprise Java space. The 2018, the bulk of the time was spent moving the Java EE platform to the Eclipse Foundation, and I'm certain a lot of that work has been completed now. So we're going to see 2019, we're going to see Jakarta EE really take off from the Eclipse Foundation. Now, let me just come into, I have a small project here for you, Joseph, that I wanted us to run through something very quickly. I don't know what problem you were having. I don't know if you are back online. I don't know what problem you were having, but normally this is how you have your configuration. There are different ways of doing. You could download a full stream application server from, say, the Payara website. And Payara is a Glassfish derived open source application server. You could download the full stream from the server, from the Payara.fish website, and then you could set that up, or you can use the Payara Micro, which is a slimmed version of the main application server development for embedding into your application, and that is what I have in this particular sample here. You embed the Payara Micro plugin in here, and then the application will be run with that one. So mostly when you have this particular plugin, for instance, you run your code like this. You just say let me just clear the screen. Say Maven clean package. Mostly I just do clean, but the clean is strictly not required. And then you say Pyara -micro, and then you start it like this. So now when you do this, you are actually telling Maven to essentially use this plugin to run your application for you. This plugin here, this version here is Pyara 5.184. This plugin is the Pyara Micro version, and it's essentially, you are essentially embedding the Pyara Micro in your application, more or less. You're embedding the application, so you're going to be running now the application on the as well. You would have a Docker file, and most of the time you will be pulling from the Pyara Micro or the Pyara image from Docker Hub, actually, not GitHub. Hopefully you are back online. You are not? Okay, so I'm still waiting for you. You are the one I'm doing all this recording for. So let me come back here. Let me come back to the IDE. So if you can say from Pyara, is that it? Let me come here, search for it here. Pyara Docker, like this. And then I should go to the Pyara Docker Hub. If you just join in, welcome to the live class. If you have any question, ask it in the comments and I'll be more than happy to check it out. So any questions, ask in here. Any questions, and then I'll be more than happy to assist. So let's come back here. So this is the Pyara Docker Hub profile. So this is what we're interested in. So we can pull this. This is it as well. Now this here is the easiest and fastest way to get started with deploying your applications to Java EE. What you saw in the course was a full stream that we added to the NetBeans IDE. This is the micro that you add to the pom.xml file, and then you can use it to deploy your application. You can use that to deploy your application. So Joseph, I'm waiting for you. If you're around, let me know, and then ask your question, and let me take it from there. But hopefully I've clarified a few things that were not clear in the course for you. Another thing I would also want us to take a brief look at is CDI extensions. Now the CDI API, the Context and Dependency Injection API, is the various APIs available. So you can use the various APIs without really thinking about how they work together. Most of the magic will happen with the CDI. And the CDI API is so extensive that there are powerful extensions available that you can use in your own application. A typical example is the Apache Delta Spike project. Let's take a look at it here. Let's come here and say Apache Delta Spike, like this. Now the Delta Spike is a set of CDI components that you can use in your application. One of them is so you see here there are modules and all of those. One of them is the data, where you can do most of the magic that Spring Data JPA has. So you can do find, this kind of find by queries that popularized data extends entity repository like this, and then you can do find by properties in the class. It's very exciting, very powerful. Okay, so ask. It's very exciting, and it's very, very powerful. You would want to take a look at it. So this is how you set it up in your application. Assuming you're using Gradle, you can just use this. Mostly you can just copy this and then you should be fine. So you set that up, and then mostly if you're in Java EE, you don't need to do anything. You just need to have a producer field that produces entity manager, and then you will be fine. As it states here, Delta Spike requires entity manager exposed via CDI producer, which is common practice in Java EE applications. That's just about it. So once you have a field for producing entity managers, you are set to go with the Delta Spike module. Now this here is where you set the transactions. So you can set whether you want to do beam managed transaction or you want to do container managed. Mostly you want to do container managed, and then you'll be fine. And then these are the core concepts. So check out Apache Delta Spike. It's a pretty powerful set of APIs, and it will really lessen your manual queries in your application. So this here, for instance, is the entity repository interface, and then you can see the various methods on it: the save, the remove, the refresh, the find by, blah blah, find like, and all of those. It's a very powerful project, and check it out. Check it out, and then it eases software development very much. Okay, so I'm waiting for the question. Okay, so your question is using the form param to feed a RESTful endpoint for an enum property. What will be the value? Is it the string or the ordinal value? Personally, I to avoid enum as much as possible. I find enums to be quite problematic, so I like to avoid them. But if you have to use enums, then you would want to make your life easy. I prefer using the string version of enums. So the form should send a string, and then you can grab that string and then use it in the enum properties like that. I prefer that to the ordinal because I always have some kind of psychological missync between the I don't like that cognitive overhead. So I just run around with it. But mostly I personally don't use enums that much in my applications. I personally don't use. If I need to use enums, I reevaluate my project again. I reassess my requirements again. I really do everything I can to avoid using enums in my applications. I don't know if I'm making sense to you. If I am, type in the chat end there, let me know if I've clarified things for you. Also, you had a question. Okay, now when it comes to cloud deployment, there are different ways to deploy a Java EE application. There are different ways. You are asking, when trying to deploy a Java EE application on the cloud, say Amazon Web Services, or even Google Cloud Platform, or even Microsoft Azure, or that. I'm having